In our previous video, we have talked about how JavaScript executes the code being a single-threaded programming language. And we've also seen the use case of call stack, which helps JavaScript to understand at any specific point of time which code is being executed. So here we are going to understand what is synchronous and what is asynchronous code. And once we understand the difference between them, we'll later try to understand how it is possible, even for a single threaded language, to have code that is asynchronous in nature. So here we have a code snippet. So when you want to execute this code, how will you go ahead and execute it? So here we have a piece of code. We'll try to execute this code, keeping in mind the single thread nature of JavaScript. So here, as soon as you will execute the code, we'll go ahead and create an execution context. And we will also have another thing that will keep track of the code that we are executing, and that is call stack. So now, as soon as you start executing the code, it will be in declaration phase and we'll see the first function, that is sum. So we'll go ahead, declare the function inside, and we'll name it sum. Similarly, we have another function that is named say hello. So we'll create another function, we'll name it say hello. The declaration phase will be over. In execution phase, we'll start executing from top. So we can see that every execution context has two parts: memory, that is where we store all the information. So now when we start executing the code, we'll directly come to this line, and what we see here, we see that a function called console log first. Because you're doing a function call, we'll go ahead and put that inside call stack. Because call stack is something that takes care of at a given point of time which function is executing. So here we will call console log, and as soon as you call that, it will create an execution context, and that will print the message first in console. So what we will do, we'll create a box here, we'll name it console. So we can see the out. So here we have console. So the console function will get executed, and as soon as it happens, we will see the message first being printed inside console. So we'll print the message first here, and at the same time we'll go ahead, delete the execution context, and it will also get deleted from call stack. Now we'll move on to next line, and here what we see is we are calling a function console log. So we'll push that to call stack. So we'll say console.log. And to make this work, we will also have to call another function, that is sum. So we'll push another function on top of console log and we'll execute it right here. Now we will create an execution context of sum, and when you're calling that function, it is accepting two parameters. The first one is a and second one is b. The value of a is 10 and the value of b is 12. So here what we will do, we'll say 10 plus 12 is going to be 22. That will get returned from sum function. The sum function from call stack will get deleted, and here we'll log the message 22 in console. And this console log will also get deleted, and here the execution context will also get deleted. Moving on to next line, here we again do the same similar thing. Inside call stack, the name of the function is console log. Inside console log, we can see another function call, that is say hello. So we'll go ahead and push another function on top of console log inside call stack, and the name of that is say hello. And as soon as you execute say hello, it will create another execution context, and the execution context, we are passing the parameter aria. Aria will be passed inside say hello, and we are going to return hello name. Name is aria. So here in console, we'll see the message hello aria. As soon as that happens, the execution context and everything inside call stack will get deleted. Moving on to the last line, we can see we have a function called console log. We'll go ahead, push console log inside call stack. We'll execute the function here, and that will print another message last inside console. So we'll put the message last here. As soon as that happens, the console log will get deleted from call stack, and we do not have anything inside call stack. Now the call stack is empty and our execution is completed. And at last, what do we see in console? The code is being executed one after another. So the first line of console is going to print first. This one is going to print 22. This one is going to print hello aria. and this one is going to print last. So the code in which the execution happens one after another is known as synchronous code. So this is the example of synchronous code because the way we have written the code is the same way we'll get the output. So now we can go ahead and test it inside console to see whether we match the output or not. So we'll press enter and here we see first, 22, hello area and last. That is the same thing that we are seeing it here. So this kind of a code is known as synchronous code. Let's move on to next piece of code here. So here again we have another piece of code, and whenever you start executing any piece of code, the first thing that happens is a global execution context will get created. And here we are also going to put a call stack right next to the execution context. And as soon as you start executing the code, there is no declaration, so declaration phase will be over and we'll move on to the next phase, that is execution phase. Here we see the first thing, that is console log. So we will have a log message here. So console log will be pushed inside call stack. The execution context of console log will get created here and it will be executed and we'll see the message first in our console. And if you just take in consideration at what point of time this gets printed, we will think that it will get printed at 0 millisecond. Now, as soon as that happens, the console log will be deleted from call stack and the execution context for the function will also get deleted. Now we will move on to next line. And here what we are doing is, using setTimeout, we are asking this function to wait for a second before executing. And we know the JavaScript is a single thread language, so at one point of time there is only one thing that will keep going on. So here as soon as you call this function setTimeout, it is going to wait for a second, and after that it is going to push this function, that is an anonymous function, inside call stack. Because that is what it can do, there is nothing else it can do, right? So it will push the console log and that console log will get executed, and at 1000 millisecond we'll see another message, that is second, right? And after 1 second the execution context will be deleted and we'll move on to last line. And in last line we are executing the function console log again. So here we'll see console.log will go ahead, create the execution context for this. As soon as you create the execution context for this, it will print the message third, and there is no wait for it, right? So it will get printed at the same time the second one got printed. So make it like 1001 millisecond. So this is what we are expecting based on whatever we know about how JavaScript executes the code, right? We know that JavaScript is a single threaded language, and at one point of time there is only one operation that can keep going on. So if this is the only structure that JavaScript executes on, so this should be the output. At 0 millisecond we'll get the message first, then it is going to wait for a second because that is what we are asking them to do. So it will wait for a second and execute console log with the value second. So second will get printed at 1000 millisecond. And third will get printed at 1001 millisecond. So that is what we think will be the output based on whatever we know about JavaScript execution. So let's copy this and execute the code here to see what is going to be the output. We'll press enter, and here if you just match that output with the console that we created, it's different, right? So the first message we get is first, and we are getting first here at 0 millisecond. Then we are getting second in our case, but here we are getting last. At last we are getting second, but here we were getting third. So the way we are executing the code is not matching the way JavaScript is actually executing the code. So here if you try to take a look, what is happening is, even though the console log second is coming in line number 2, it is being executed at the end. And even though the console log last is being executed at the last, it is being executed before second. So here you can understand that this is not being executed in a synchronous way. Synchronous means one after another. That is not working here. So whenever the code doesn't get executed in the synchronous way, that kind of a code is known as asynchronous code. So asynchronous means the code that doesn't get executed one line after another. And that is the same thing that is happening here. But there is something that is missing, right? Because we are not able to understand how will JavaScript execute the code in this way. And that is what we are going to do in all of this module. We are going to fix the structure that we have created about how JavaScript executes the code, and fixing that structure will make us understand how asynchronous code gets executed. So in this way, what we have learned here is there is a difference between synchronous code and asynchronous code. Synchronous code is the code that gets executed one line after another, and asynchronous code is the code that doesn't get executed one line after another. And in this case, this is a asynchronous code. Why? Because even though we are writing console log second in line number 2, the output of second that we are getting is at the last. So it is not executing one line after another. So this is asynchronous code.